Hello to everybody, and welcome to Mrs. Best Reviews, BEST, no, B3ST, correct. I am here with James, also known as Watch Your Mouth Reviews, 833 on YouTube.
Yo, yo, yo.
And we are here to recap the long season of Basketball Wives season 10. Anywho, so where we will begin is I want to look into first what you thought because the reunion did just air last night. So just to keep it light, how you felt about everybody's fashions and hair.
Um, Eclectic is more the words. So I would have to say my favorite look of the evening. I want to give it to Duffy because I felt like I like that color on her skin, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Brandy just because she did look very beautiful. She actually looked like a Butterfinger. She looked very like chocolatey and very just delicious. She looked beautiful.
Yeah,
My
Brandy.
least favorite, I'm gonna give it to that whole side of that couch. I'm gonna give it to Jackie, Brooke, and who was sitting next to Brooke? Was that British? Yeah, British.
Yeah.
British was sitting. I'm gonna give it to them three because I can't decide between the three of them. British looked like she was going to the gym, and then I was confused, like, because Brooke looked like she had on a towel, like a custom towel on. And I want Jackie to stop dressing like Morticia Adams.
I cannot with you.
I want her to stop dressing like that. Like, seriously.
We just
Jackie
started.
cannot get it right at all. And she wears black too much.
It's been like that since her first season when it was Basketball Wives LA.
No, I get that.
Yeah, it's too much black, but I kind of agree with you. The whole side of that couch from my little notes, just so y'all know, I do have notes. I'm trying to be organized. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. But I feel like that whole side of the couch, like you said, was the Hot Mess Express on in real time. I really do. I took little notes and it was pretty much the same as what you said. Brandy always knows how to dress. And for the most part, her hair and stuff. Same with Duffy. I did feel Duffy's dress though, it made her little ninnies look lopsided, but
It was, yeah, the cut wasn't flat. The color was beautiful on her skin, but the cut of
mm,
it was interesting because it was like cleaved on her right side, and then the left
yeah.
side had another pattern going somewhere. I was confused with what the dress was supposed to do overall, but I would say that the color was beautiful on her skin. I loved her sleek Levita Jenkins from
Jenkins from
the Steve Harvey show, Bob.
yeah.
I thought that looks cute on her as well. So
Mm.
I was okay with Duffy's look. I just thought the dress was a little interesting, but the color was beautiful.
Uh,
Um, I wasn't feeling Angel Brinks outfit at dress at all. I thought that looked crazy as hell.
it reminded me of like an expression, like a bird about to take off.
No, it reminded me, except it was like, that's true. It reminded me of when Married to Medicine had that one lady that did the taxes, her reunion dress. It was similar to that.
Buffy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Buffy. I'm not a feather person. I think that is the tackiest thing ever. Oh, and of course, Candace from Housewives of Potomac, she did a feather dress. I didn't like that either. I'm not a big fan of feathers. I'm just not. I think that is the most tackiest thing you could put on a dress is feathers next to rhinestones and jewels. Like, I just feel like it should all be fabric. It should never be any of that. And I'm a guy, so what do I know?
No, I agree. I think honestly, men for clothing, hair, all of that, some of the best people to do my hair or outfits have been men. So I feel like because you guys are more visual. That's what my husband says.
I think it's not that we're more visual. Our abstract of colors are not as expanded as
Mhm.
women's, because women have a different shade of color for just one. Like, you have 10 shades of pink, and it's like, well, all we know is just one pink. So, you know.
He said, anywho, moving on. The way I wanted to do this, because it is like basically a whole season recap, is I'm gonna go in order of the cast by who had the least to most expansive storylines. Um,
Okay, let's see if I agree with this one because I feel like none of them had a storyline at all.
that's the
Uh,
that was part of the reason when doing this. I was like, wow, I don't think I'll be able to do episode recaps because the beginning of the season it was slow. I had it on while writing my little papers. It was really slow for me in the beginning, and then as it progressed, I felt like they just kind of started these petty problems with each other that weren't
yeah.
actual legitimate, just so that they could have a
So
storyline.
reach a little least to best. I want to hear it.
So I have it rated in this order. We're gonna go over Malaysia because she left early on, then Angel, then Brooke, then British, then Brandy, then Duffy, then Jennifer, and we will end with Jackie and some other things. Some of them are not in the complete like British. I put her kind of in the middle, her and what is her name? Lord, Brooke, because I felt like even though they didn't really have storylines themselves, they were kind of involved in starting a lot of mess.
Okay, I see what you did. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I got you. Okay.
I'm like I have to explain my brain. I'm a Gemini, so it's everywhere.
I get it. I know. I get you. Go ahead.
But with Malaysia, I really wanted to see because she was in the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
We'll go over some of the issues with her. I guess single parenting. I wanted to comment on that because for the last two seasons of this show, she's tried to, it seems, make it seem like she's struggling as a single parent. And in my opinion, it just seems like Malaysia is maybe bad with money.
I agree, but I'm not gonna say no. Malaysia's storyline this season was her ex-husband finding out that she was trying to sue him for child support, and she was trying to figure out of who on that cast because that's how he found out, spread the word. Um, the other storyline was her getting into it with everyone, and Jennifer spraying her tea about her house being foreclosed on. That was Malaysia's storyline, just to nip it all in the bud.
She really, I felt like she was trying so hard though to make the single parenting thing, and I felt like it was a little
I
offensive
feel
to
like that was
single.
last season. This season, it was kind of
She
more
tried.
so. It was more so she was getting into it with no one wanted her around, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. I
Oh
actually
Lord.
felt bad for Malaysia.
Really?
I did because I felt like, especially with British, they were picking on her.
Oh yeah, British was definitely picking on
They
her.
were picking on
Yeah.
her in a way that I felt like was unnecessary. Y'all don't like her, but then y'all don't necessarily have to shun her because y'all all are coworkers. I have plenty of coworkers that I don't really want to be in circles with, but you would never know it because I treat everybody with respect.
Hmm.
I felt like British just really just went off the deep end and was trying to shun her from the moment this season began. And the same thing with Jennifer. I felt like Jennifer, even though I'm gonna
I
backtrack this statement, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I felt like Jennifer did have a reason to some degree.
hmm
But then I'm gonna also pull this card because she also was cool with her when they came back last season. So I
hmm
don't know what happened from last season to this season where now you keeping her at arm's length, like you don't want nothing to do with her. And
hmm
then to spray her tea about her house being foreclosed on that you heard this rumor, I was like, see, this is where I kind of felt like if I had any sympathy for the Malaysia versus Jen, me being on Jen's side, Jen just pushed me back about 5 feet because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody deserves to have that put out on Front Street because I had no idea. I didn't hear that about Malaysia. Like, and I watch everybody, every YouTuber imaginable that does this kind of tea. I had not heard this from anybody. So
I hadn't either.
the fact that Jen put that out there like that she heard that Malaysia's house got foreclosed on, one, that's embarrassing. And two, it's shameful. You could see the look on Malaysia's face that she was like, damn, I know you did not just spray me with this, knowing that it
I
probably
think
is true.
I think with Malaysia, that's the only thing I felt bad about because I feel like even though obviously they're on reality TV and you have to show your life, there should still be what do they call it? The things that stay behind the fourth wall or whatever they call it. Like
Yeah,
certain things with family and your household and things that could affect your kids, like just keep it to yourself. You bringing and putting that out there doesn't do anything to change the situation. It just made Jen look bad,
it
in my
did
opinion.
because we don't talk about you and Tim Norman. We don't talk about the dude who stole your Range Rover, even though we'll probably get to that at some point. But we don't talk about those things and throw that in your face saying you stupid for lending him your car in the first place. So we don't talk about that's the thing. That's what I didn't like about Jen this season
Hmm.
is that I felt like as much shit you got in the blogs,
Right.
we didn't even discuss any of that in this whole season of Basketball Wives.
What they
But
say,
you gonna
people
throw
in
this
glass
tea because
houses.
I sure would have sprayed. I'd have sprayed her back. I really if she was coming at me talking about my house get foreclosed on, I said, well, at least I didn't give a dude your Range Rover.
But I think with Malaysia, that's something I did write in my notes that's kind of bothered me. I've always liked her on the show, but I feel like she
I
came
go
on
back
the
and forth.
show truly. It seems like she came on the show obviously for an opportunity, but I don't think she's interested and has never been interested in like heavy exchanges with people in terms of like throwing the shade right back. Like she seems to take a lot in her basketball wives career, but then when it comes to matching the shade, I don't feel like she's ever done a full good job of it. I personally feel like it was time for her to depart the show and have been tired of her since season 2 of Basketball Wives LA.
No, I
Yeah.
agree. She needed to
Yeah.
depart or needed to take a break from the show, especially because I feel the same way. I feel like the last 4 seasons of Basketball Wives, Malaysia's kind of stuck in the background, and we know she's there, but she really isn't there. So I kind of felt like with Malaysia, yeah, it was time for her to go because what else do you have to talk about?
Yeah, she's
You
not
ain't got
willing to ever go deep
yeah,
either.
you ain't got no man that we know of. Your kids seem to be fine. Yeah, I don't understand what Malaysia like. It just seemed like she just needed the money, and I can't blame her for that because if I had this opportunity to be on the show like this and get the check from it, I would have too. But it just seems like she was just trying to get compensated for, you
Mm.
know, the easiest check she can get.
Yeah, I agree. The last thing with Malaysia, which you pretty much covered that I had written down, was just I didn't, in terms of how she offended the other women, because they truly acted as if this woman stole their money, put their job at risk, and did the most. And I didn't quite understand what it was she did to offend the women. So I feel like there would have been no point in her staying. They would have never solved the issue. So it's definitely better, in my opinion, that she is
Um,
gone.
with the exception of Jen,
Mm,
I agree with your statement. With the exception of Jen, I feel like Jen, once again, I go back and forth with this in my mind. I feel like Jen did have a reason to keep her at a distance
hmm.
because they did have an altercation on the show.
Yes, a
I
big
felt
one.
like they came back from that from last season, but once again, I felt like okay, I'm gonna give her that. You probably should keep her at a distance and not lend out so much trust. I think British's problem is that Malaysia got the best of her on British's first season of Basketball Wives, and she was never able to recover from that. I think that that's the real issue between those two.
Hmm.
Brandy, that's some bullshit. That's just some bullshit. I'm just gonna put that on Front Street. That is some bullshit. Um, who
I
else is
didn't even
there?
understand Malaysia and Brandy's
I didn't
issue.
either. And when
It
we get to
made,
Brandy, I'm gonna because
yeah.
Brandy pissed me off on the reunion, so I'm gonna get to. It was very clever of you, Brandy. Very clever. But when we get to you, I saw what you did.
Mm.
Um, and who else? Duffy didn't have no issue with Malaysia, so I can exclude Duffy out. Um, who else? Brooke. Oh, okay. And yeah, I don't know what Brooke's problem with Malaysia was either. Brooke confused me too.
Brooke didn't really comment too much on it. I don't know.
No,
Brooke had her own.
she kind of just associate by association. It was like I'm gonna
Yeah.
beef with you by association because it's the odds are against you, baby. That's just what it is. The odds are against you. So I'm just gonna beef with you because that's what the popular girls on the show are doing. So we're gonna do it too.
I do think though, when she left the show, this is my last little comment just
Hmm.
pertaining to her. When she left the show, it was felt. It definitely was felt. The show already, a lot of people, myself included, were kind of like, Basketball Wives is back. Why? In my opinion, I was kind of like, I thought the show was done with and they should have moved on, especially after all that mess with that OG girl. all the stuff that happened. So I'm like, okay, they brought the show back. But then after Malaysia left, it just became, you could feel that the issues that they tried to pick and have with each other just weren't authentic. I felt like producers are like, well, you got to do something. You got to fight with somebody. You got to comment on something, because it just, all the issues just came out of nowhere. It bothered. It bothered me severely. Outside of that, the next person who really, in my opinion, is not that interesting and should not be on the show is Angel Brinks. So
Oh, she should have went first. She should have went. I forgot about her already.
I only put her after Malaysia because I felt like Malaysia left the show, in my opinion, pretty soon. It was pretty early on in the season, so it's like, just get it out the way. But Angel, if Malaysia was still on the show, would have definitely been first. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm a female. I'm sensitive to the fact that, yes, we experience things like postpartum and stuff, but it's like, that's all you had. And it just, I didn't, Angel keeps too much in. I don't feel like she fits the dynamic of the group. I think she's a little too passive for this group of women. I've never cared for her. I think she's a great designer. I won't take away from her talent. She seems like a good mom, but even the issues that supposedly and obviously still exist with her and Rockstar in their relationship, she just kind of stopped discussing it and was kind of, she just seemed like the voice of reason in the group, but she's too passive to like express and be that, if that makes sense. Like she
was the voice of reason on the reunion, is what you...
On the reunion, yes.
Okay, because
yes.
I was going to say, when was she the voice of reason? Okay,
no,
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I was
reunion,
surprised.
Okay, I was too.
She spoke up. She spoke
because
up at the reunion, and I was like, oh.
The thing about Angel Brinks, I could tell she's in therapy because a lot of her mannerisms are very coached now, and I could tell. But what I'm gonna say about her is that I need her to go to, I need her to tell her therapist the real truth. Because I feel like when it comes to people, they tell their therapists surface level things that do not fix the internal issue of what you're going through. And I feel that Angel did probably expose a lot to her therapist, probably did get the postpartum. But for me, listening to her, you could tell that she didn't divulge everything.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah, because there was still, because this is my issue with her. She makes very bad choices in men.
Yes.
She makes very bad choices in men. And I wasn't going to, I wouldn't say that if Angel was 25. I wouldn't have said that if Angel was 25. This woman is almost 40. So I feel like at a certain point in time, there's nothing that I see about Rockstar that gives me husband, father of 2 additional children, one having your older son's father, dying by suicide kind of mentality to handle that family dynamic. There's nothing about him that I see that would initiate that kind of relationship. I see, based on last season, because we didn't see much of him this season, I saw a man-child. I saw somebody trying to come up on somebody else's coattail. I saw ignorant. I saw just a lot of different dynamics with him that made me look at her and go, so either there's a part of you that is very immature or very insecure, and I cannot tell which one it is.
Yeah, that's funny you went into Rockstar, because I had literally asked James how he feels about Rockstar and Angel and if you think they will last. So I guess the next I have to laugh, y'all, because this is my friend in real life, so I know his brain sometimes. Do you think that Angel Brinks and producer Rockstar will last?
Absolutely. I think that they will last all of 10 minutes. And I think that, once this reality show goes away, so will he.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I thought I was going to be the asshole to bring it up, but I watched him on which VH1 show? Something ratchet.
Love and Hip Hop. He was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and he
knew
was doing
A1.
too much. Yeah, he was doing too much on that reality show.
So to me, I feel like to go to her, it just, and aren't they sister networks too? And all, I don't trust
They're the
Rockstar.
same network. They're just sister productions.
Oh,
So because Love and Hip Hop was on, it's now on MTV now as of today, but
okay.
back then it was
Yeah.
on VH1. And I just remember the one thing I remember was K Michelle ripping him to shreds because he went off on another woman on that TV show.
Huh.
So, and that, like I said, I don't
He
know from
did.
Angel's perspective when it comes to this man that she chose, if it really was your, insecure. What was the other word I
Mhm.
choose? Because it just left my mind.
Insecure and oh my God, my
Immature.
brain.
No, not
Immature. Yes, you
yeah.
said insecure and immature.
Okay. Okay. I don't know which one it is. I honestly cannot tell you because
Mhm.
she comes off as soft spoken and very well knowledge in her lane, but there's something about her personally that lacks, and I just don't understand what it is because she's very surface. Like you cannot divulge into her because of, she reminds me of Kim Kardashian. Like Kim Kardashian is very surface. Even though they put all their family business out there, you really
Yeah.
don't know the dynamics of that one individual because she has so many distractions around her. That's Angel. Angel has
Yeah.
so many distractions around her, you really can't see who she really is.
I
So
think
that's
that's one
why
of her friends too. I believe she designs and is friends
it
with
wouldn't
Kim
surprise me.
K.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, that's really honestly no disrespect, not trying to be shady, but there's nothing else that I feel I would waste my time on this live for. By the way, to everyone watching, be sure to go to youtube.com/@ watch your mouth reviews and then just add 833 and subscribe to his channel. Damn it. And we appreciate it. That is all.
Oh,
We're gonna move on along because I'm not even gonna waste my time on Angel. What I will say, just to comment on the reunion, I felt like she spoke out, she was honest, she held people accountable without getting in their mess.
about,
If
about the Malaysia thing.
um that would probably be the only thing.
I was gonna say that was the only
Yeah,
thing that I felt like I agreed with her with is that
yeah.
they didn't give Malaysia a fair chance and an open space for her to be vulnerable with
She didn't
them.
feel safe.
She didn't feel safe. So I
Yeah,
actually agreed with Angel because that's
yeah.
exactly what it was. So yeah, I will give her that.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I'm wondering if that statement and the reason she was so quick and vocal on it is because maybe the reason she's so surface is because she doesn't also feel safe in the group because they tend to attack whomever is new, even if the person's doing nothing. But on to the next. As for Brooke, Brooke is her last name Bailey? Brooke Bailey?
Yeah, but you Brooke Bailey, yeah.
Brooke Bailey. Um, I honestly, just to touch on last season, I think that was her first season back, and I was surprised they brought her back because to me personally, she was not that memorable from the past. But I don't know overall how to feel about Brooke this season because I felt like most of her interactions and storylines had to do with the husband. I also want to comment later, we'll talk about her announcement of her divorce on the show. I we'll talk about it. But to
Please.
start with Brooke, the first thing I had in my notes I know is mean because it's surface and I'm not skinny either. You know what I'm saying? I got a little junk in the trunk and in the tummy. But why so much plastic surgery? The way that it's
You know, I told I was I had told my partner, I was like, she looked like Cruella Deville when the animated, you know how Cruella had them cheekbones in the animated version. I was looking at her and I was like, why does she look like Cruella Deville? Because it points when her cheeks point. If you look at her cheeks, they point like this. So I was like, why does she look like Cruella Deville? I was so confused. I said, what the hell did you put in your face?
beautiful woman
She
without
what?
the surgery. I don't
I don't
understand
know
it.
what she did, but she
Everything.
needs to sue. Hang on one second, girl. Somebody's at the door. Hang on.
Oh, anywho. While he is grabbing the door, I will discuss my opinions on her surgery. I feel like plastic surgery is becoming too much of a thing in general in the industry for people who are in the public eye. And a lot of these women are getting plastic surgery before they are fully developed, especially as African American women. We can develop but then we get to our 30s and we get thick, and then they get to their 40s and we get thicker, not fat, just thicker. So I feel like she shouldn't have touched her body. It seems like now she's working out, Miss Brooke, and I think that's what's causing, especially. I know she went for Coke bottle, but it doesn't give Coke bottle.
No,
It's a hot
no.
mess.
She's shaped like a banana. It's like I can't. The problem that I have with Brooke, and let me just be honest with you, I didn't know Brooke was as old as she was when she first
Mm,
got on Basketball Wise. Brooke is almost 50. So let me kind of put that in another logic for you. When you don't look your age and you don't exude the body of a woman in her 30s coming on the show with a woman you're competing with. Because mind you, when Brooke came on the show, that's when you said she wasn't memorable. I was all like, no, I think she was. I just think they didn't give her a fair chance her first go around.
mhm.
So when I saw Brooke competing with a woman that's 10 years younger than her, booking the same gigs as her, I was like, yes, like she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, and she's this old. Like, come on. So it was like, I'm just like, no, what did you do? Why did you do
Yeah,
this? And I feel like when women get older, they feel like they're going to lose their youth.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I just feel like I'm not somebody that would ever touch my body just to keep up an appearance because she's not modeling that I know of right now.
no, no, she.
So,
It's like why?
somebody just got on me about the banana.
You said no, because you said she's shaped like a banana. But if
Yes.
I'm looking and thinking of a banana standing up,
Yes.
because
Think of that.
there's a random dip in the curve, and
Yes.
it
So
doesn't
if you
come back out like it's supposed to. It just keep dipping. So I mean, hey. Eh,
well, shout out to you, Paul Adams. This is all meant to be fun and entertaining.
oh,
So
Paul.
yeah, this is not meant to be like insulting to this young lady because she's beautiful, and I said she was beautiful. If you catch it
She
back, but
just shaped, she's a beautifully shaped banana,
yeah, absolutely. She's
and
still.
that's all
I mean,
she.
she's still not ugly. I just wish women would stop getting surgery to
Yeah,
look like something that. Then I don't think that you should, as a woman, you should want to look like is your mama. That's the only thing you should be wanting to look like is your mama. I'm just saying, like, there's nothing, wrong with whatever it is. Like, yep, I'm sure her mother's beautiful. So I just don't
yeah.
understand why.
It's probably something with something that we won't understand. But we're speaking of Brooke, to keep moving along with her outside of the plastic surgery, I wanted to make the point of getting into a little bit of the relationship issues she had with her spouse. I wanted to
Mhm.
make the point to bring up previous seasons because when she announced them, they were in love and all this stuff in the previous season, and it seemed good the way she spoke about it. But then when she was discussing how her and her husband are going to be working to have another baby because they wanted one together, I noticed in the last season he did not share the excitement that she claimed that her husband would share. So I felt like coming into this season when she said that he cheated on her, I was not entirely surprised because I feel like sometimes people can show signs that they're not fully happy or when people are cheating. Yes, people have kids with people who are cheating on them all the time, but it just seems like he wanted to avoid that. And I'm like, maybe it's because it had something to do. But I wanted to get your opinion on the situation with her husband and how she handled it. We'll get to her announcement of the divorce later. But for during the season, how do you think she handled? How do you feel about the storyline of Brooke and her husband?
It would to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. That she did it in the most common way that I know women that are in those kind of situations to do, where she does leave her home, but she's very unsure because she can't unattach her heart and her head and her mind. She
Hmm.
can't unattach the two. Like her mind is telling her, yes, go forward, do this, and then her heart is telling her, I love him. I can't picture my life without him. So I honestly felt like she handled it in a way that I see a lot of women handle relationships when they're on the teetering of ending, is that you don't want it to end, but
Yeah.
you don't know, because this is the man that this is your next of kin. You don't know how to put him back into your life after he has now violated the vows.
Mm.
So I just felt like she handled it in a way. I don't know if I would have handled it that way personally, but I just know that it's a common thing that I do see amongst a lot of women, especially black women. They really do teeter on, kind of one of those situations where like I don't know what to do. I love him. I just can't let him go.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I thought that I actually appreciated her sharing that on television because outside of the show, I wouldn't have known that happened. So it's like to put your business out there like that is to be commendable, especially if you're on a reality television show. However, once seeing him toward the end when they were in Mexico and the
Hmm.
season finale and stuff, I kind of like I always root for people being married to work it out, but
Hmm.
I think some people know themselves, and I think that's the difference between a more mature woman being cheated on and somebody who's like 21 to 25. When you're older, you know what you want, men and women. You know what you're going to put up with usually, and hopefully you can set those boundaries. So it just seemed like her mind was made up on what to do. Um, as for the ladies and how they offered their opinions on her situation. Did you have any feelings about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too.
Yes. I feel like I don't want to hear from a woman who allowed her husband to cheat on her over 100 times to give me any advice or to grill her husband in the way that Brandy did. I felt like for me, watching Brandy just say, I could see where she's coming from because she's hurt. I could see where it's like, we hear you, but you
Hmm.
didn't give that energy to your husband when y'all were on Iyanla Fix My Life. You didn't do that. You wanted to know how many women it was,
Hmm. See, I
as
didn't
if
see her
that
on
mattered.
Iyanla.
Exactly. That's why I couldn't take Brandy seriously. I knew you didn't watch it. That's why I was like, I can't take Brandy serious. When I was watching it, I said, no, not from you.
Hmm.
Not from you.
Hmm.
Jackie, I was okay with. Because I feel like Doug has never cheated on Jackie.
I don't think so.
I don't feel like he ever has. Not to say that there hasn't been opportunity to cheat on Jackie, because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he's had plenty of women all up in his face. But what I'm saying is, I just think that
he loved his wife.
he
He loved,
loves who
yeah,
she is. A lot of, and that's where I said when men love crazy, they do. That's
they
why when
do.
men be like that, I can't stand a crazy girl. I'm all like, y'all love that secretly.
No,
Y'all, I think,
my husband is proof of that because I am not rep tight. I have some. Look, I'm trying to tell you, I'm not right in the head, and he seems
but
to enjoy it.
yeah, exactly. It's something about women who exude like a very dominant, out of the ordinary. That's what I'm gonna call it, because I don't want to call it crazy, because even though Jackie is crazy, but it's a dominance out of the ordinary. That's what we call it. And what it is that it exudes that she knows how to tame, and then she knows how to re-engage it. So I think that that's where Jackie, and I was okay with Jackie giving the advice, because
Yeah,
you can
that
tell
one makes
Jackie
sense.
loves love. Like, regardless of her, reputation on this show, Jackie loves
Mm.
love. So I think that I was okay with Jackie. I just wasn't okay with Brandy, because I felt like, coming from her, just because you chose to stay with your husband after he
That's
cheated
not
on you,
everybody
that's not
else's
everybody
right.
else's story.
I
I felt
think she should have, if you've been cheated on and you want to give advice to someone else who's been cheated on, then you definitely need to constantly say every time you speak, this is what worked for me in my heart, but you are your own person. This is your relationship. You can know somebody, you can know my spouse and all of that, but no one knows what goes on like between the two of you, but the two of you. So you shouldn't just offer people up advice to stay with a cheater because you did, because some people may stay and then if that man cheats again, they could equate that to be on
well,
you.
see,
But
Brandy stayed with her husband because it was a trauma bond.
oh,
And that's kind of, a little bit of a different psychological extreme, like to stay
Mhm.
with someone because of a trauma bond that you have with them. And I kind of, I don't know if we'll ever get this on the show. I need to see Brandy's dynamic with her mother
Huh.
because Brandy's disdain for women is so interesting to me. Because I tell you, when I look at somebody, I always go back to the beginning.
Mhm.
And her disposition when it comes to women is so interesting that it
Mhm.
makes me want to see the dynamic with her mother because all I've ever heard her talk about was her father. Even on Iyanla, she talked about her father all the time. So it
Huh.
makes me wonder, what was your relationship like with your mother?
Hmm.
How did
That's a
your
good
mother
one.
treat you? Because it's just something there that we're not seeing. And I
Mhm.
think would explain Brand. I know it's coming down the line somewhere in the notes about
Mhm.
Brandy and Duffy. But it's something about Brandy's disposition towards women that makes me want to know what her relationship like was with her mother was because
Yeah,
I can't.
I think she definitely has some issues, obviously, within her personal life. But then at the same time, she's a Gemini, and a lot of times people can think one thing and it's something entirely different. I think it seems like in her personal life outside of the show, it seems like with her dad and her husband, even outside of the cheating and stuff, to me, it seems like she likes to be the center of attention and is usually the center of attention. And when she's not the center of attention, which usually happens in a group of women, and she gets a little catty, in my opinion. But
Mm, I
eh,
disagree.
yeah, that's how I feel. I feel that way about Brandy, but it's hard when you don't know the people. But I don't know. I feel like the world, the internet, no one likes Brandy. They like everyone strongly dislikes her, and a
I don't
part
dis.
of me is like,
I don't
why?
dislike Brandy. I don't dislike Brandy. I want Brandy to get help and stop
Mm.
keeping things so shut down. She needs
Mm.
to let some of that out.
I think she needs to learn how to communicate because when she does communicate, it's like she starts to yell and, like
Yeah,
you
it's
said,
very
shuts down.
abrasive. That's why I
Yeah.
said there's something she's angry about that she's keeping in because that outbursting and all of that turmoil that she disputes on, Malaysia, Duffy, and these are women that you claim that you love. There's something in you that's been triggered, and you're not saying what it is, and you're not letting it out. And I don't think she knows how.
I think I definitely think Brandy needs help with communication because the way that she reacted to a couple seasons ago when Jason cheated, hollering at him is the same thing she did with Duffy. So she definitely needs some work. Out.
I understood why she was hollering at Jason. I understood
No,
when he
I
actually got
get
there.
that, but it's like to if you do that with him and then you do that with every person you have an issue with, you can't just scream and holler every time you have an issue with people. That's
No,
why I
I'm not
say
saying
she
she
has to.
should. Yeah, I get what you're coming from. I'm not saying she should, but I'm just saying, like I said, she has a very bad That's what I'm saying about the disposition with women. There is something about her disposition with women that just has to say, this is rooted in you to do
Mm.
this.
She
That's why I'm saying
definitely.
I need to see the dynamic between her and her mother because it's rooted in her. We gonna get. I know we gonna get to it, but it's rooted in her that if a woman does something that she does not like, it is a automatic like I am going to tackle you. Like it is an automatic. There's no reasoning. There's no conversations. There's nothing. It's a I'm gonna instantly attack you, and I'm gonna make sure you fall and hurt yourself. And it's like I can't subscribe to that, Brandy. I can't do that.
That's
That
the Gemini, darling, because I'm the same way. Somebody irritate me, but she probably has psychological issues too. But I also feel like a piece of it is Geminis do have a tendency, even if they don't do something to someone first, once you attack us, it's like, oh well, go from 0 to 100. But see, I've gone through anger management, like actual classes and things to work on that. So that's
you don't
where what
realize
you
you just
say.
proved my point. You
No,
just
I do realize I
yeah
proved your point. That's
yeah
what I
you
was
just proved my
saying.
point. Yeah.
I had to go and get some anger management. But with Brandy, if you've never had any sort of help, and it doesn't seem like she has from all these seasons, gotten like consistent. Like it's not just going and talking to somebody one time. You have to like consistently do that. But separate from her, I do feel like all of those reasons and things that you mentioned are absolutely why she, in my opinion, shouldn't offer anyone relationship advice because you got to heal from your own stuff. Sorry, y'all. You got to heal from your own stuff before you can go to the next person to try and guide them on that. I felt like pertaining to Brooke's marriage, I felt like everyone should have like the confessional comments down to what they were telling her to do. I just didn't like it, but it's TV. So, but moving on, the next person, your favorite, well, your least favorite outfit, Miss British Williams. I will say she had her outfit stressed me out. It look you see that logo in the corner next to your head. I don't know if you can see the B3ST
Yeah, I
entertainment.
see it. I can see it. Yeah.
That's her outfit. Except this is a logo. It was like the whole. I didn't understand the outfit. Good for her on the ankle monitor. I guess with British, I was happy that she seemed less angry about her breakup and stuff with Lorenzo. It seems like they're getting to a space where they can co-parent. So she said while talking to her mother in the park. There are a couple things that happened with her this season that, in my opinion, kind of got brushed over because of the ankle monitor and the fact that she was always in someone else's business, but telling Jackie that she was. So I guess with British, I'll just make it a little open discussion. Like, what were your opinions on the season? I didn't feel like she had much outside of that ankle monitor and federal case. And after looking up the case, I don't really want to speak too much on it, but the federal government has like over a 90%, what is it called? Where they conviction rate?
Yeah.
They don't just charge people. So I'm
No.
kind of,
So yeah. So it's been alleged that she has over 12 years of um, litigated fraud.
it's 12 years.
That's from
I
what.
thought it was 4. Oh, wow.
No, there's no from what is this is all alleged because I have a plug in St. Louis that
Oh,
told me that these are years. So she only got caught for them 4 years allegedly. I'm not saying this is true. I don't know, but what I'm saying is that they said that she's been scamming for since her first season of Basketball Wives, going all the way back to 2000. When was she on Basketball Wives? 2012, 2013.
yeah. Dang. Wait. So
They
is
said
she
that she
being
was scamming
accused
back
of,
then.
so she's being accused of scamming the government, or is it like Jen Shah and people?
I think it is Jin Sean people.
Oh, that's bad. I thought she just didn't pay her
So the
taxes.
reason why she hasn't been charged yet is because they're still investigating her now. And I wish that's what she would have said versus saying, "Oh, the DA, they were trying to put more charges on me." That's because they're investigating those charges now.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. I did not.
I was gonna say, what did you look up?
All I saw, she just got charged for some tax stuff like
It
recently.
goes more, and that's why I
So she's
said
not just
that case is
scamming.
still that case
Who?
is still opening. That case is
Who?
still open. Like it's still going on. Like that's why I'm saying when she was saying that, I was like, okay, the only reason why you're not on the ankle monitors because your lawyer felt like you were gonna flee the country, probably. So that's probably why he
Oh,
got you off of that. But no, she has way more. It's way from what I understood, because from what I understood allegedly, like once I said, from what I understood, she's been scamming since the first season of Basketball Wives. That's what I
wow.
heard.
So why wouldn't, you know what I don't understand? First of all, if you are going to be a scammer, like if you are scamming, pay your taxes with the scam money or something, because now you're dealing with the tax stuff in addition to
No,
this.
it was like tax stuff. It was I have to
It's a lot of
reread that
different
email.
charges. They
It's
did
a
say
lot.
that
That's
at
why
the
I said it's a
reunion.
lot
Yeah.
of different charges. Like it's from what I understand, it's more
Wow.
than just that. She had like a store in St. Louis and had like a clothing line at that, or it was something that she was selling that she was taking the money and not get, like, allegedly. I can't one that's what I'm
Lord,
hearing. Like, there was
allegedly.
yeah, there's a I'm gonna send you the information on a YouTuber that
Uh,
actually went over the stuff. It's a lot of different things that it's more than just them taxes. It's a lot more stuff.
I do. You know, if you're scamming people, I'm it makes me kind of hard to respect you. Kind of like Jen Shaw scamming the elderly and whatever else. I don't know, go sell some weed. Don't scam people. There's other things you can do that are against the law.
But see, even Jen Shaw, the FBI is, from my understanding, the FBI allegedly has been investigating her even way before Salt Lake
Yeah,
City.
wait, but that's how it works. So that's
Yeah,
why I'm surprised with the legal issue with British. I understand she can't speak about it at all, but
yeah, no, because it's
man,
them cases are still going. But yeah, from what I understand, they're still investigating her. That's
she's
it.
probably going to be in court then for years with all those charges. Because one thing about the federal government is they move slow.
Yeah, she hasn't been convicted. They
Yeah,
haven't given her restitution yet. So that's why I said the only reason why they have not given her and why there's not any more charges is because they're still investigating those charges. The prosecution probably doesn't have enough evidence because of probably how long it was. That's more because she hasn't been caught in those times. So it's kind of your word against mine. Where's your proof? We don't necessarily have any proof. But yeah, it was the stuff that I saw on and the stuff that I read on her. I'm just like, oh wow. See, I knew about the business thing. That's the only thing I knew of. And then when I started digging more, watching other YouTubers investigate her and talk about her, that's when I was like,
mhm,
oh, okay, so she has a lot more than just the attacks and more. It was like a
yeah.
website for it was like a lot of different stuff
You
that
know,
I
it's
saw.
I find interesting though is that when you look at other reality TV shows on multiple different networks, you see people get in trouble. Perfect example because it's so recent, Jen Shaw. They get accused of doing something from the government, or even before they're accused, the cast to hear rumors and things like this. And then when the government comes forth and charges them or, says they want to, they're like, oh, I don't want to associate with this person. It's bad for my brand. How could you do this to people? None of that happened on this season of Basketball Wives. I felt like it was nice to see them all be supportive. And I was like, that's kind of a different dynamic for a show when someone breaks the law, especially when they're accused, because it's alleged, but being accused of doing something that harms others
Yeah.
that they don't know. Usually the cast comments, not a single comment. So,
Yeah, and and just to kind of put things in YouTube, bro, because they'll flag you for this. This is all alleged. The
yeah,
things that even we read that this girl's being charged is because honestly, things are alleged until a judge slams his gavel and says
yeah.
court is adjourned. That is the only time it's not alleged. It is still alleged. Even in court, it is still alleged.
But
So
they
we're
still
not
be
saying,
commenting usually,
yeah,
like they say, like for Judge Shaw, Whitney said, if she's done these things,
yeah,
then
it's still
that's
it's still an
awful
if because the
and it's a
judge has not
concern.
signed off
Yeah,
on
but they
anything.
haven't commented at all. They're just
Yeah,
like,
now they can't because
they're not. They do. I would have liked for them instead of doing all the petty drama to like give their opinions as they do. Like Bravo, I think, does a good job of asking questions about cases and the confessionals and stuff without them making accusations. They make it very clear this is alleged and they just want to get the opinion of their castmates. But they didn't do that. And I felt like production kind of missed an opportunity to comment on that more because people were interested on it. It was on the Shade Room, it was on
Yeah, and
TMZ, it was everywhere.
I think the reason why they didn't get involved is because they probably didn't know the direction it was going to go.
Yeah.
Because you do have some cases where people don't see time at all. They just have to pay back restitution, aka
Yep.
Erica Jane's
Probation.
husband, Tom Girardi. He did not get criminal charges. He just has to pay back restitution. So it is a little bit, of a difference. So I think that
Yeah.
for, VH1, they probably want to give the storyline light of day, but also be very limited on what she actually was willing to share and what she could share. Um,
Okay.
for me, British, yes, she did get on my nerves, but at the same time, I feel like I don't have sympathy for someone that thinks that because she cried on this show as if she was innocent.
Yes.
And that's the problem that I have with her is that they have evidence against you. You wouldn't have an ankle monitor if they had nothing against you. You wouldn't have to go to court if they had nothing against you. You
Mm.
had real life situations like in St. Louis, like a lot of bloggers that are from there that have reported on this story have said a whole lot about her other than what we're seeing on TV.
Wow.
So I'm gonna send you some stuff because I was
Please
like, I would
do.
have never thought
Yeah.
like,
Because this is obviously, that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was like, well, if they're not going to talk about it at the reunion, if she's not really going to discuss it on the show, then we'll recap it here. That's what Watching About the Views, Mrs. Best Reviews are for. But I mean, I know that this is going to take years. They're still adding things that they want to potentially charge her with.
yeah,
So
because they're going back in time.
I'm
That's why
definitely
I
going to
said
do
it goes
some
back in time.
research.
They're going back years. I'm telling you, she
Yeah.
had because from what as I said, I understood allegedly that this has been going on since her first season of Basketball Wives, which was
Mm,
probably 2012, 2013 time. So that's 10 years ago. They said that
mm.
she's been doing it since then. That's alleged. I don't know that to be true because I'm waiting on the case. I go by what the judge signs.
That's what you should go by because
Yeah,
that's
I
the.
go by what the judge signs. Like when the judge signs the degree
Mhm.
for your charge, that's what I go by. I don't go by what the DA is trying to find on you based on evidence because it could be inadmissible. You just
Yeah,
never know. For those who don't know legal ways, it's not confirmed until a judge actually approves that and
pretty
says,
much.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
going to charge you with this because, yes, they have proven that you did it. They have not
Well,
proven anything.
hopefully
Yeah,
that's really.
I'm praying that she doesn't get any longer than, other color folks that do the same thing.
I mean, with the Todd and Julie Chrisley,
Hmm.
they just got, didn't they get like 10 years each or something crazy like
Hmm.
that? So I feel like the government right now is trying to send a message to people in Hollywood and like who are affluent,
They're sending
basically.
a
Like,
message, but they're sending to me because I don't understand how I'm gonna bring back Jen Shaw, how she was looking up to 50 years in prison and only got 6. That is a huge leap.
they said that she's in a rehab prison or something like
Yeah,
that.
she didn't even go to prison. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
that's why
have a program
allegedly.
where
I
if
don't
you
know.
say,
Yeah.
if you tell the federal government that you have a drug addiction, just like in California, if you have a drug addiction and you come to work high or drunk or something, they can't just fire you. They have to put you through rehab first. So, like, maybe they're trying to do something. Either way, I think that British, at the very least, will have a few years to be on this show and make some clear legal money that will hopefully help with their case
Yeah,
because I hate to see a mom taken away from a daughter so or
especially
any
that
child
young.
so
Yeah.
soon. I hate to
Yeah.
see it. But then at the same time, if you I don't know, it's like you had this platform, your dude, Lorenzo Gordon was an international basketball player. They get paid more than the NBA people get paid here. So I'm like, why you guys were together? But speaking of British and moving on, the last thing on her I want to know, because I kind of started to see little things. She was very invested in the issues and conversations of Brandy and Duffy. And I felt like the previous season and earlier in this season, she was, Jackie, you're in everybody's business. You're always in everyone's business. You mean well, but it's a problem. Mind your business. I don't like how she's in my business. But then she was all up, in my opinion, everyone else's business. So do you think that she is like Jackie, kind of like a mini Jackie, and how she's at everyone's business?
So I'm gonna say yes, but I don't think she's doing it in a way where it's coming off as messy. I think she's doing it in a way to where she's taking the jabs personal.
Mm, okay.
And I'm gonna
Okay.
give you an example of that because, and we're gonna go into this because Brandy pissed me off at this reunion. When the comment was made about Malaysia and this Instagram thing that Duffy put on her Instagram promoting the products that Duffy had.
Mhm.
and British took offense to that, it was like, okay, why are you even mad right now? Like, it was like, what is your problem exactly? Like,
Mm.
that's why, and that's what made me mad at Brandy because I know that Duffy did not mean I don't owe Brandy loyalty.
Mm.
I honestly don't think that because the way I look at it is that British try to make it seem like Duffy was doing some fugazi, like, oh, I'm gonna get back at Brandy, and I'm gonna, now she's my best friend, kind of high school catty little situation. Where I think it was more so. We know that Malaysia is a social media influencer. She promotes a
Mhm.
lot of products on her Instagram. I do look at that. And I
Mm.
think Duffy was just looking at that as an opportunity to not only put money in her pocket, but to also get her brand out there as well. And a lot of ways people do that is to pay social media influencers.
Yeah.
British took that way too deep and made it more than what it was.
Mhm.
And
I think after the reunion, though, it was clarified that they only showed a piece of that clip by multiple people on the stage. And so it was found out that I guess there was more said where she did mean it that way. But I do think regarding the issue with the posting of Malaysia, I did feel like British made that look a little like messy, but regarding like other comments and stuff with
I don't even.
Duffy
Here's the
and
thing.
them.
I still don't agree to that because that's the thing. I do not believe that she meant loyalty. I think she meant that I don't owe Brandy an explanation for why I did what I did. And to me, I think British cornered her. And when she said loyalty out of anger, it was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna run with that because you said it. And I think that they're playing on semantics here. And that's what pissed me off about Brandy.
Semantics matter though in friendships, especially with females. There's no way in hell I'm going to even allow myself to say in a sentence that I don't owe loyalty to a friend just because if you feel a certain way, say that. But loyalty is something that I think is
Okay,
easily understood by most people. I think Duffy was tired of going back and forth and the whole
that's my
drama
point. I felt
and
like she
made the
flipped and
comment,
said
but you
something.
can't do that because that's what loyalty is. You
Okay,
can't do
so
that to your friends just because you annoyed. You can't subtly say you don't owe them loyalty. You have to be clear with your behaviors
well,
and
and
your
this is why,
words.
and that's why I said I don't because I felt like Brandy knew what she meant. She did not
Yeah.
mean it in that way. I
Mhm.
Here's the thing: I've known you almost that same amount of time,
I guess that's true.
and we know a mutual person.
Yeah.
And
Used to.
if I seen that person on your Instagram, I'm not going to think for 1 second you were not being loyal to me. I'm
Yeah.
not going to,
Yeah.
even though someone may egg something on and you say, well, I don't owe James loyalty like that. I'm not going to take that as you don't owe me loyalty. You don't
Mhm.
owe me an explanation for why that person is on your Instagram.
I think
And
with
I think that
Duffy, she
that's
just
what,
shouldn't talk to someone like British about
yeah,
her
because
issues.
British
But
antagonized that situation. And for Brandy not to see
yeah.
it that way, that's what pissed me off because it was like you clearly saw that she was antagonizing that situation. Because if Malaysia is not your enemy, then why would she think that would be okay to go up to Duffy and just completely grill her
Oh no,
like that
that's one
on
thing
your
I
behalf?
do think that was made clear. She may have tried to make it look good, but I do think that Brandy views Malaysia as an enemy because why else would you bring
Absolutely.
up the statement? But and I think that's a little dramatic because I get it. Like I have friends who I was really close with at one point, and as you grow, as you mature, sometimes you don't have the same things in common, or you just don't mesh and click as naturally as you used to. I feel like that's probably happened with Brandy and Duffy, but British definitely was the common denominator. As for Miss Brandy with her issue, because she's the next person we're supposed to
Hmm.
discuss anyway, so it's good we went into it. With her issues, specifically with Duffy, because personally, just to put it out there, I don't feel like Brandy had that much of a storyline outside of having issues with Duffy and then being in Jackie's business. I don't feel like she had the most interesting storyline. And the question that I was glad Tamar asked at this reunion is like, well, how close are you? Because half of the cast was like they've known each other for 19 years or something, but they've never been like close, close. But then they then Duffy also says they've never been close, but then all in the same sentence is crying and so concerned about her son. But if you've never been close, then how are you crying over her son? Wish the boy well and say a prayer. That's kind of how I view it. So I feel like there's a confusion
I
because
feel like there was
again,
two things happening in that situation. I feel
mm,
like when she mean close, meaning that they
mm,
probably went a long period of time without probably being in communication with each other.
mm,
They probably went a period of time where things may not have been on the best foot. But I can't imagine. So let's say you and I, because we have had periods where we probably didn't speak for months at a time,
mm.
and I probably say, well, dang, I haven't talked to Amina. I still love her, but we haven't really been talking that much. And, but I'm sure we'll get back to where we were. It just takes a moment. You can't tell me that, God forbid something happens like with like, let's say your husband or something, and I'm not going to feel like, damn, like I can't imagine what you're going through. Cause that's what I felt Duffy was really saying. Like, you didn't even tell me, like, that's something
Mm.
serious. Like, yeah, we haven't spoke, but I would think that, you'd be like, hey, I need a friend right now, like, or something. Because you would call me and immediately tell me something's going on with you,
Mm.
no matter how long we went without talking, because you've done it before.
Yes.
Like we
You
went
can
months
have
without
a
talking.
closeness with people without talking to them all the time.
Absolutely. And I think that that's Duffy probably doesn't know how to use her words. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm
She
gonna say
admitted
it,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She doesn't know how to use her words, so it's going to look wrong. But I understood what Duffy meant, and that's why I said I'm mad at Brandy because I think Brandy knew what she meant too, but she was going to use this as a way to shun her because it gets the majority on her side. It makes Duffy look like you know. Because
Yeah,
let's
because
not
even
forget,
though, hmm,
I got another point. Let's not forget when Duffy first came on this show, Duffy was literally fighting people on your behalf.
mhm.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that Duffy is not a loyal person to Brandy. I just feel like Brandy played with fire, got burned, and then wanted to point the finger at the least likely person that was doing it.
I think the friendship is from like how they both describe it. It seems like the friendship's always been based on like what
It's
someone can do
popularity.
for, yeah,
It's based on
it's
it's been
popularity and who
it's
can do what
popularity
for
and
whom.
who can, yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
It's like that's
yeah.
what their friendship is built on, and I think that that's how Brandy operates. If you're not, it's all for. It's like one for all for Brandy. It's that that's just what it is. She did the same thing with Malaysia. When Malaysia then because Malaysia said you wanted me to leave this show when you got fired. I cannot do that. Therefore, I stayed on it, and I think that that was the real. Even though Brandy lied and said that wasn't what it is, I do
It
believe
was
that's what
the
it was.
issue. It was definitely the issue because these women, in my opinion, just all of them are a little bit shallow. To me, if you have that type of a friendship, oh, what can you do for me in popularity? That's not friendship. You guys are
It's not.
coworkers.
That's why I said I need to see that dynamic between Brandy and her mother because
Yeah.
I feel like everything's going to be explained because she has this beauty shop mentality of gossiping, playing victim, shunning people, and then talking about them to the detriment of their being. And I have a problem with Brandy because of that.
To
I
the
can
detriment of his being.
because the thing about it is there's no way I'm looking at my friend of 20 years, seeing her cry right in front of me and say, okay, well, what did you mean by the loyalty comment? Is that really what you meant? Or did you mean to say something else? Because I know you, you're not good with your words. That's why I
Yeah.
said, Brandy, I'm telling you, Brandy was playing games. And I saw that and I was like, no, I'm sorry. I see it. I can see, because there's no way, if I'm your friend of 20 years, there's no way I would have taken that as you don't have any loyalty to me when that's literally all you have shown
I
on
just
national
view
TV.
I view them both as wrong in that specific situation
Hmm.
because, like you said, 20-year friendship, 2-year friendship, 1-year friendship. You pass the age of even 16-year-olds understand there's a loyalty. Duffy you shouldn't speak to outside parties who don't thoroughly understand the relationship that you have with this person about your feelings on it. And then on Brandy's part, you have to give the person that you've known for 20 years, 2 decades, the opportunity and take a moment and think before reacting, because you have to say to yourself, okay, well, I know this person. The way that you respond to something is not going to be the way that another friend may respond to something. So you do have to kind of be cognizant of how your friends are. I felt
Yeah.
like they both effed it up. But then a piece of me after watching the reunion felt like they have known each other 20 years. Was this some bullshit beef that they convened with and said, okay, we're going to
It could have been. I don't
do?
think
Because I
that's what
know
it
they've done
was.
that before, but
It could have been, but I don't think that that's what it was. I really think that British cornered Duffy because she knew she could,
yes, that's what British
and
does.
yeah, and Duffy, out of frustration, really couldn't think of what words to say and said the wrong thing. That's why
Yeah.
I say you could clearly see that's what she did. And the thing is, I give myself way too much credit of other people thinking that they can honestly see,
Mhm.
a dynamic of a person thoroughly. Like some people will say, "Oh no, that's what she said. That's what she meant." No, sometimes you can get flustered and say the wrong thing. I've seen it happen many a times. So that's why I said, and I feel, and once again, the way Brandy played that, it'd be one thing if the emotive state was, I would have preferred Brandy just to make a whole scene, and then maybe I would have believed Brandy a little bit more. But Brandy was like pointing the finger, talking about you being fake on this show, you being fake,
I
Duffy, and
feel
all
like
that
she
stuff.
did that all season. It seemed like whenever she got the opportunity, she seemed to throw in Duffy's face with these little digs and stuff. Oh,
Exactly.
you act
That's
like this
why I
for the
said
camera, you do this. And so, but that translated to me is you seem a little jealous of your friend, sis.
it ain't even jealousy. I don't even think
In
it's
my
jealousy.
opinion, I think she is.
I think is that the bottom line is that Brandy didn't want Duffy to be close to Malaysia because for the longest time they weren't.
Hmm.
And if you get close to Malaysia, Malaysia probably knows a whole lot about Brandy that Duffy does not know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's trying to protect herself and also be cautious of what could be said about her. It's a very big game that Brandy was playing. That's why I said I see it.
Yeah. The
You
last
have
thing with Brandy, with you mentioning all of these things that she does, because I did notice like there's just it's like I want to. I don't dislike Brandy. It's just very hard to always agree with her. I wanted to ask if you felt that it was right to bring her back to the franchise in general, because I felt like of everyone that's come and gone from this franchise, there's like maybe a handful of people through the years who just don't do well with it. I think OG's one, and I think Brandy's one. I don't fully agree. Hi, Yvonne. I don't fully agree to that she should have came back to the show. Even if she's good TV, I just don't feel like with what you said and how she behaves with women, it seems like she just has an issue with women. I do agree with that. And if you have such an issue with women, like you don't fit the show. And I'm not quite seeing why producers keep bringing her back, because it seems like online people and the fans, they don't always lean towards liking her or even having her as a favorite. It seems like the women in the group find her to be difficult. It seems like every season she's having this big fallout with someone, and I just don't feel she should be on the show. So how do you feel about that before we move on from her?
hmm, because I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I didn't mind her being on the show, but I was reminded of why I didn't like her.
Yeah.
I think that that's
Yeah.
why I don't. I see why VH1 brought her back. I do. I see exactly what I see the motive, but I don't necessarily feel like I didn't want her on the show. If that makes sense,
No, it makes sense.
I felt like I was okay with her being on the show. I feel like there was more people I would have liked to have seen more than Brandy. Like honestly, I think that for me, I would have much rather had seen like Royce back, or I would have much rather had
Oh, I
seen.
loved
I
Royce.
didn't, but I would have liked to have seen her show. I would like to see Susie on the show. I would have liked to have seen. Um, who else am I thinking in that Miami cast that I really did enjoy? The what's her name? That was all up GNS that one season the basketball. Kenya Bell. King of Bell. I would have loved to see King of Bell back on the show because to me,
She didn't get a fair first.
she
Yeah,
didn't
and
get
then
a
she just
fair.
left.
I felt like they were antagonizing and teasing her. That I would have loved to see her get a redemption because I felt like
Mhm.
she was deserving of a redemption. I really do. So I
She
think that
was.
there was more people that I would have loved to have seen on the show. Even Kimsha Artest, I would have loved to see her back on the show. Like if she would have come back. So
You just brought
no,
up names that I literally forgot about and looked at the phone to Google, like, which one is this? I forgot. You went back
because
to season one.
I do like the show Basketball Wives. I understand the concept, but I if they can't get new wives, I do not want this show to come back. Like I feel like I'm
I
done with it.
agree. I agree.
But we
I
missing. But
definitely,
I don't want to go jump too far ahead of the show because we
yeah.
missing a couple people on that list.
Yeah, that I mean that's either way. I really agree. I think Brandy. I don't dislike her like you. I wasn't like I was like please bring Brandy back because I wasn't. But I don't think she's a bad addition. I just feel like she has to stop with this. She just has to stop every season. When you see the same person fighting with different people every season, it's like sometimes you could tell like the Kenya Moores who are like there to start drama or the Jackie Christies who you know are just going to do it. They understand they're on TV and they're going to do the whatever they can to bring forth it. But it seems like Brandy, I don't like the way she moves. But moving on to a happier subject, but not so much happier. Duffy, uh, I want to comment on her relationships. I felt like separate from her issue with Brandy. I felt like Duffy, kind of similar to Angel, seemed to get along with. I'm thinking she got along with everyone this season for the most
Um,
part,
I
aside
feel
from
like
Brandy.
Duffy came in this season and even this previous season came in peace because she didn't leave the show in peace. She left the show in disarray. So I just felt like she
Yes,
came
she
into the
did.
show wanting to be in peace and wanting people to see the side of her that I think she didn't get the fair chance to her first season of Basketball Wives. So that's what I would say about Duffy. I liked her dynamic on the show. I loved her relationship with Iman. I really felt like you saw, all of the bullet holes and stab wounds metaphorically of that relationship. And then you saw the pleasantries and the beautifulness of it as well. Because for me, I just couldn't imagine being engaged to someone that long and not have any desire to plan a wedding.
She
So
said she had, I guess that's why she went to therapy.
yeah, because she knew that was something that she needed to fix, and that's what I appreciated about her. I appreciated about her that knowing that this is not normal and I need to get some help, but
Hmm.
also I need to feel supported. And to me, Iman, her fiance, came across as he was just used to being frustrated with her, so he just kind of allowed it to be what it was,
Hmm.
knowing that at some point they will get past it. So I think that
Hmm.
that's what I did appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. I felt like she came back to the show definitely trying to, I can't think of the doggone word, revamp, refurbish her,
I think she was trying to reinvent her character.
reinvent,
Yeah,
revamp,
she was.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
She I like Duffy. I've never really disliked her. I was
Mhm.
disappointed in how she left the show. There are some things this season I didn't fully agree with. I did appreciate her like being open
Thinking
with the
back on it, I
relationship.
did not like her.
Really?
I did not like her up until the fight with Tammy. The fight with Tammy actually made me like her.
You know what? I think that fight with Tammy made me like her too. And prior to that, I didn't dislike her. She was just
I
there.
didn't like the blind loyalty to Brandy, and that's why I said once again,
Well,
I hate
look
I
at
have to go back
that.
to this.
That
The
did
blind
happen.
loyalty to yeah, it did. That's why I said Brandy was on bullshit because if we go back to that, yes, it was a blind loyalty to Brandy. So this allowed her to shine outside of that, and that's why I like her because it wasn't until the fight with Tammy realistically that we really start to see, okay, well, yeah, she, does have some moral compass. We just couldn't get the full depth of it because everybody was so focused in on that fight. So, yeah, that's when I started liking her. is when the fight with Tammy happened. That's sad because I do like Tammy, but at the same time,
Yeah.
yeah, I started liking her after that. I really did, and that's just it may be a flaw in me. I don't know, but I started
No, it
liking
was
her.
necessary because Tammy was just she did too much that season, so it is definitely necessary. Outside of Duffy's issues with Brandy, I didn't feel like she had that many issues. I felt like she had an okay season, but just being entirely honest, the only thing I did want to comment on that I thought was a little odd was the reproposal. Um,
I didn't think that was odd at all.
I thought that was odd just because something like I just didn't understand it. You repropose to someone who already wants to marry you. I just felt like you do
You felt like
it,
she should have had a
not the
wedding.
gesture, not the gesture of it is nice. I'd probably do something for my dude too, but like I wouldn't. I feel like she came up with the reproposal just so that she could give a conclusion to production on her situation.
You
I feel like
know,
either way they would have worked it out and probably planned a wedding. But
I agree with that, but at the same time, I felt like to me the gesture, because it was a gesture, but the gesture in it was this man proposed to her. What was it, 12 years ago or something like that? She said it was either 10 or 12 years ago. It was one of the two. 'Cause I know she's been engaged. She's been engaged. It's been a long time.
long.
So from my understanding of it, yes, I felt like this was a good gesture to say, hey, I'm ready to get married this year. This is my commitment to you now because you've already committed to me. Now, what I would like him to do, since we on that subject, is I would like him to upgrade her ring. I would. I would like her to upgrade her ring
Why?
because
He bought her a ring and she wouldn't need an upgrade if she didn't take it. Say on the internet they got engaged in 2016. That's almost 10 years. I think
I thought, when was she on Basketball Wives? That was 14, wasn't it?
that was way before him. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was before him.
she had an engagement ring then. She was the fiance then. That's why I'm like, no, it was longer
It
than
says
that.
online to Iman they just got engaged in 2016
I think it
after
was long.
dating for only a few months and they've been together since. That's why I think she was with someone else.
No, she was engaged to him.
Just say on
I
the
could remember.
internet
We need to
it
look up when she was
wasn't.
on Basketball Wives that season because I feel like that was like
It might have
2013,
been
2014.
earlier than 2013, but it says they got engaged after only dating a few months anyway. Now it's
No,
in
yeah, no, she was engaged to
2016.
him on that season because I remember. Um, I was trying. You know how I know that she was engaged to him at that time because I was trying to figure out how to pronounce his last name.
I think she was dating him, but they got engaged.
No, she had a ring.
Like they
That's
got engaged.
that
They're
same ring.
claiming the internet's claiming that they got engaged in 2016. But when people have to question it, that's in my opinion,
Yeah,
it's
because
been
I
too
felt
damn
like that
long.
fight with Tammy, but no, it said fiance of, and then I was really trying to pronounce that name. I was like, how
Show
do you even?
show I
I'm
can't
not even.
pronounce it.
I
And I
tried.
don't want to be
Yeah,
disrespectful
me either.
to that man. But I,
Yeah,
I I felt like the reproposal thing, it seemed more of a thing for the show. But I do think that I think he's a good match for her because he's so calm. I do think
I think
that.
he's not only is he a good match for her, but I think he's a different dynamic to what she's used to. Because mind you, she used to date
Mhm.
Drake, so I think him being in the basketball arena, the NBA, and him not
Mhm.
actually being associated with the team, but being behind the skirts, I feel like
Mhm.
he has such a level head and such a good eye for life that maybe this is what she needs. She needs a dynamic given to her versus her searching for it. Because some people are
Mhm.
like that. Some people, you have to be presenting to them what could be if they, find it within themselves to follow their own guidelines or follow their own hearts. I feel like that's what he brings to her.
I like that. That's actually I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I like Duffy. I thought she did good this season, so I wish her the best. And they'll probably keep her on the show because eventually they'll get married, and I'm sure she'll cash in on that opportunity. And I don't blame her because weddings are expensive. Um, Other than that, I don't feel like there was much with Duffy that was worth mentioning. She kind of was chill this season, unless someone was coming to her, cornering her with information about Brandy. So the next person I'm actually let you choose because I saved them for last was Jackie and Jennifer. To whom would you like to discuss first? Because it's all going to correlate eventually, but which one?
We can start with Jennifer because I find it interesting that she's no longer with Jelani. It has a whole other man.
Child, that was the first thing I had notes on Jennifer that I watched. I was like, what?
I can understand why, because I mean, he way out of her league, and I'm just like,
You say he's out of her league. The shade. I'm here for it. I support that.
I'm
I
being
agree.
honest.
No, I agree.
First of all, Eric was out of Jennifer's damn league. Like, we're not finna do this. Like, we're not finna play like Jennifer ain't some, gorgeous Black Paris Hilton statuesque kind of woman. Like, we're not finna act like that. Jennifer is extremely beautiful. I think that for me, looking at Jennifer and Miss Jada, I wish she'd have brought the real man on the show. Like, Jennifer, come on, you didn't have to do this to us. Some tell me you was bullshitting during the season. You just want people to be in your business, and I get it. But at the same time, I was mad at that. I was like, why you waste this man? Why you waste this damn time and shit?
And the parents, when she met Jelani's parents and how forward it was.
That shit pissed me off.
It was just that was interesting. I felt like the parents, if it was a legit relationship, I felt like the parents kind of like meeting them kind of like made it. Who wants to be told they both old and need to get to having babies?
No. It was the father saying, "So what is your intentions with my son?"
Like, who are you?
She's the woman.
Right.
What is his intentions with
and
her?
He's the man past 40, single, no kids.
Yeah, like
he's been living his best life, him and his tillywhacker. That's what's been happening.
Or undercover life.
Oh, do tell. Explain.
I don't have any tea. Just alleged. I don't have any tea.
Alleged.
I don't know this man. I don't know anything about him. I don't know. I don't have any tea. I do not care about this man. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just saying.
Somebody who I guess knows someone who works in the network had told me on my DM that he allegedly may have found the show and went, because you remember he was introduced in that little dating thing British had put together. Well, in order to do that, to be on this show and many other shows, you have to do your COVID test, sign your paperwork, and agree to be on TV. So it was listed as a casting call. Someone had messaged me that like last week. I was like, huh. So I'm wondering if Jelani knew what was
cover, because initially I got that same vibe. I said it's something about him that just does not reign authentic. And when the parents came along, and when that was the first thing I could father see, if I was Jennifer, I'd have got up from that table.
The parents were too animated.
The parents, it wasn't that they were animated, they were misogynistic. And I do not have time for parents being misogynistic when at the end of the day, if we really trying to say that the man know better, the man will have the life planned out for me, and all I gotta do is show up.
That's actually
once
true.
Again,
you are gonna go
what is his intentions with me?
I'm
yeah, that's the question that I need to, because Jennifer was worth $25 million. What is he worth? I'm just saying, what is his intentions with Jennifer? Parents. That pissed me off. No, I'm sorry. When I was watching, I was watching that scene, I said, I had to rewind that because I said, did I really just hear it? Let me rewind that back. I know this man I just asked this grown woman, what is your intentions with my son? As if she's supposed to fund his life or something. Like,
look, if the parents were the inkling that it would not work, then I don't know what would be.
When I tell you I'd have got up from that table so quick, I'm like, this is my intention.
Goodbye, I thought that, and then there goes British again. She didn't physically push her into a corner. She just used her mouth this time. Yeah, she got her new boo all over Instagram. Not everybody follows Jennifer Williams on Instagram. I'm one of them. I don't follow her, so I had no idea that she's been parading.
Yeah, I don't follow Jennifer because Jennifer, to me, outside of basketball wise, does not seem like she would be any type of fun.
Yeah, I don't follow any of them just because I prefer to watch them and enjoy it. Social media, I don't.
I think I might follow Evelyn.
Oh, well, she don't count. We talk about current castmates. I follow.
No, because I don't follow any of them. I follow. Okay, well, she's not current anymore. I follow Malaysia.
I follow Tammy Roman
I don't follow
consistently.
Tammy, but I see her on my timeline a lot. But yeah,
I follow her, but but as for Jennifer, my opinions on Jennifer, just like I feel like she's trying to stand up for herself. Like for those, if you know, you know, if you watch season 1, so Jennifer's kind of come far in terms of speaking up a little more and defending herself, but with the issue that she's having with Jackie,
I'm conflicted.
I here's the thing. I feel like Jackie is trying to say and effing up her words like you're trying to make $1 or a profit off of what you've been through, basically exploit yourself for $1 through they making the documentary, which I kind of agree with too, because I'm like, no one really cares if this man
I was
stole your
gonna
Range Rover.
say, yeah, I was
No
like,
one cares.
I'm like, because to me, and this is what I'm gonna say about this whole situation, because I, I'm asking Jen, what are you really mad at? Are you mad at that she said that she was a producer, which she didn't say that? Thank you, Brooke. Um, so are you mad at that, or are you mad that she said the man didn't steal your Range Rover? Like, I'm trying to feel like, Jen, what the fuck is your problem? That's what I'm. That's really what my mind says. But then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the man, you gave the man the car, he just didn't give it back to you. I don't know, and I think that
That's
this
what
does.
Jackie said.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's really, is that really stealing?
Well, I have a cousin. Well, I have multiple cousins who are lawyers. I know for a fact that in the state of California, that if my boyfriend or someone I'm not married to, like just someone I'm in a relationship with, if you give them permission to drive your vehicle, whether they are on your insurance or the note, the deed, whatever it is, or not, that does not count as stealing. They view that as, what do they call it? Commutative property, kind of similar to marriages here in California, because
Of
they
common
know
law.
that, yes, but they don't. It's
That
stupid because they don't acknowledge common law, but then at the same time they know that
they
people will stack
use
it up.
the inferences of it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Because to me, I felt like that's why this case was taking forever too. Because mind you, this shit happened a long time ago. So I was all like, this is still going on.
she's been in court since her return back to basketball life. So I'm like, but I feel like there's more to this case that people don't
Yeah,
know,
I feel
and
like, and I feel that Jackie knows something, and Jennifer is trying to keep her
that's
hush.
why. Because why else would you? I understand sending Jackie to cease and desist because when we'll get into Jackie later, like she did too much in the things that she was saying, knowing you're on a platform, knowing and understanding the industry and how long they've been doing things. I feel like Jackie should not have said that. I feel like Jackie did too much. But at the same time, if someone is accusing you of something or saying, oh, you knew about this, you're on a TV show. The court will take stuff from shows, yes, but they're not going to take Jackie making a comment about what you claim to happen and are making a documentary on. They're not going to take that and say that it's going to interrupt your case. Like it doesn't work that way because as far as the court is concerned, this is your coworker. So they're not going to assume that. But I just felt like Jackie was wrong, yes, but the legal issue to bring a cease and desist, I thought that was interesting. And did you notice when they replayed the clip? Because Jackie's like, Brooke handed it to me. Yeah, yes, Jackie. Jennifer cannot give you this paper. You have to get someone else to do your proof of service. That's how it works. So I was like, huh, Brooke served her. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on with the case, but I know on like Bravo TV, there's like little rules in their contract and clauses that say they can't just be out here suing each other for every little thing. So I'm wondering why
Hmm.
VH1 wouldn't have something in it, or
I think
maybe
they
there is,
do. A
and they
cease and
got
desist is
around.
different than
No, I know it's
suing. I
different.
think
That's why I'm like
so.
maybe, but I know they like have certain legal things. Like, how can you tell someone to be quiet on a show about something that you
So here's my
yourself
thing, and this is
are
alleged. I don't
completely.
want nobody coming after me, Jennifer. This is alleged. I think that what it is that Jen's not winning in this case, this
Mm.
legal case, and any inference of doubt that the defense can take, they're going to take it. I know that firsthand,
Mm.
looking into law, that anything that could be said that would exonerate this man, they're going to take it, even if it's something as small as Jackie saying you gave the man the keys to your car, knowing y'all live in California, and just like the law that you said, that validates it right there. So Jen is telling Jackie to hush because we can't have the defense team watching Basketball Wives and hearing you say that, knowing that I called you a friend at one point in time. So that's why I'm just like, I feel like that's why Jennifer did that. I do. I feel like Jennifer did that to make sure that it doesn't look like there's a flaw in Jennifer's story.
I think that if you have to do all of that to make, I know it's all alleged and stuff, but come on, dude. Like, you're making a whole documentary of it, but no one else can speak about it. So that's the part that I don't get. The second part for me personally, separate from whether if this man stole your car, I'm sorry. As my good friend has stated, you're worth $25 million. He stole this car. How is he able to register it if the car that he stole isn't just your
I think
name?
she got her car back, if I'm not
So
mistaken.
why
I
is she
think she.
still?
I don't know. Someone told me she got her car back, but I don't know that to be true. I
I
didn't see
just
her
think
in it, so I don't.
with that case, and then Jackie or not Jackie, and then Jen freaking out about that little room. Do I look like a deluxe bitch to you? Like, look, I don't
Jennifer,
care how rich I get. Make sure the room is clean. I need somewhere to put my clothes.
that's what
I
I'm
need
saying. Like that, she was
Wi-Fi.
doing too. Jennifer was doing too much.
Like,
That's why I said
you're
Jennifer.
not even in your
I need that
hotel room
contract to
that
be
much.
up. I don't want to see Jennifer no more.
I
I
don't
need
know
that.
why they brought her back because every season since she's come back after her hiatus, each season she just beefs with somebody and the beefs get so intense. And I'm just,
It's draining.
now you're
So yeah,
bringing the law into this. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to hear and deal with people being limited because of your case and stuff. Like,
exactly. Like that's
stand up. If
stupid.
Jackie's in your face yelling like that, do what you did in your deluxe room. Get right back in that old
Or do
bad
what Kenya
space.
did from Real Housewives of Atlanta and upgrade your own shit. Like what the hell? Like it's like I'm sick of. We have 5 minutes. We need to get to wash them out. So
Yeah.
let's hurry get on Jackie and let's hurry get
There's,
to.
I mean, with pretty much with Jackie, there's, I don't have much to say. I
I just
think
have
she
one
behaved.
thing. I did feel that was messed up that she didn't call Brooke when her daughter passed away. I do
No,
want.
with Jackie, that was just the way she handled it too.
Yes, I
One
was
thing to
like,
not call, but the way even my husband was
I was
saying, "What's
like,
wrong with her?"
but I was
Like,
like, I was like,
no
Jackie,
tact,
no,
no
no.
empathy,
I said
no
no.
proof, no
I
that
was like,
woman. And
Jackie,
then did you see
no.
what was worse? Was she posted on her Instagram? I ain't even watched the reunion, y'all, and I ain't putting no energy into it, so ain't no point in messaging. She posted that on her socials, and I do think that I see people are like, "Oh, well, these ladies talked about Jackie's daughter, so whoa, whoa, whoa." No,
No,
Evelyn
no,
and
no,
Shawnee
no,
and
no,
them
no. Yeah,
did.
I'm gonna say Evelyn
That's what
Shawnee.
y'all are
That was
getting.
not no Brooke, and that
Jackie
was not.
Christie, I will say this is my final thought. She is funny. She is not a matriarch. She's not even like the internet. Some people have
No,
said.
I don't even consider her to be like a matriarch or basketball. Yeah, she
I
probably
did
been
a
married the longest to,
yes,
but it's
but
no. When I think of a basketball wife, I do think of Shawnee. Unfortunately, when I think of a basketball wife, I do think of like Vanessa Bryant. I do think of I don't think of Jackie Christie. I don't like.
because an actual basketball wife for what they're trying to make the platform about, in my opinion, like you stated, the Vanessa Bryants and the other people in the industry, like they're not going to do a show like this. I feel like it would bring negative attention to their spouse's career,
There's
to
gotta be
both
a
of
few of
them.
them somewhere that don't care.
There's somewhere, but I feel
There's
like the
somewhere.
ones
Y'all come on now. I want to see. Come on
yeah,
now. I
I
need to see
think
the real
Jackie's
life.
time on this show, she's entertaining, but I think it needs to be up.
Yeah,
Like,
and then like VH1 expand the, like you do with Duffy and Iman, expand the parameters of basketball wives,
spinoffs.
like coach,
Absolutely.
like the coaches' wives, cheerleader spouses, or like owners of the basketball team wives. Like, let me see them. Get
Yeah,
Mark
that
Cuban's
would
wife
be.
out here. I would love to see her.
I definitely agree. I felt like Jackie just looked like an ass this season. She was wrong, and the only thing that's going to help her redeem herself publicly is she has to apologize. As for Brooke's daughter, the last note on this, it's sad what happened to her, but I was happy to hear, and my spouse too, that like the production, the whole cast showed up for her. And so I thought that was nice. Like everyone put their stuff
Yeah,
aside, didn't care who was there. She said even Malaysia reached out to her and she wants nothing to do with the situation. So if someone who was bullied out of the show was willing to still come back
yeah,
and
and
support you, then Jackie's a narcissist.
yeah, and
And
rest in peace to Brooke's daughter. That is sad
yeah,
because she was on the show. She did make an appearance.
she
So,
did. And she
you
was
know,
young.
she was very young,
Yeah.
and I just can't imagine what Brooke will be going through, even despite her throwing her wedding ring in a box and having her divorce papers on national TV.
That was corny, Brooke. That
I
was
felt like,
corny.
yeah, Brooke, come on now.
It's like, and
You
you're still, but you throw your ring in the box to talk about I'm choosing me, but you still fucking him. That's all I'm saying. She said it herself. You still fuck. I tried to leave my husband once too, and then he dropped that thing off and look. But you're not done if you're still fucking him. I don't care what nobody say. You're not done if you're still hitting it. But
go
other
ahead.
than that, that has been my recap with James of the Basketball Wives season 10. I said two. Help me God. Head over to his channel on YouTube at Watch Your Mouths Reviews 833. We'll be recapping the first episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I love you all and thug life.
See y'all.
Bye bye.